The role that the Lawyers Committee has played in terms of pro bono representation is unparalleled.
I think of my job as waking up in the morning, reading the newspaper, seeing what I don't like about the world, and going to the office and doing something about it.
You're on the side of the angels when you do this work.
In the early years particularly, it was a hand-to-mouth operation.
I was the only employee, so I was executive director, I was the general counsel, I was the vice president for finance, I was the whole program.
Keeping it going and deciding the agenda was the big problems of the first year.
At the time, we did connect to the community and we got engaged in very important issues.
I mean, the work of the Lawyers Committee is unique because of the approach that they take, looking at things from a race perspective, a poverty perspective, as well as an immigration perspective, but looking at the overlap of those issues and the way that those issues interplay.
It is about not looking at one small issue, but tying it all together.
The government was deporting this wave of Salvadorans who were fleeing death squads.
At the time, the courts were granting asylum to Salvadorans and Guatemalans at the rate of 3 to 5%. It was just a paltry number.
The client was married during the process and had her first child, and named that child after the lawyer. For that lawyer, that was one of the most important experiences in her life as a lawyer, saving that person's life. And I don't know where, as a young lawyer, you can get that opportunity other than through things like the Lawyers Committee.
And I almost cried. And Helen, you better not tell anybody. This is between us. But I almost cried. I told her what I was about, you know, my life story and the challenges I faced growing up and what it had taken me to get to that point in my life. And she was like, I believe in you and let me just, you know, help you out and let me partner you with some attorneys that I think would be a great fit to carry out your vision.
An attorney, and not just any attorney, but someone who is really highly skilled and highly trained, is an incredible benefit that we're able to offer people. And so I think to do that over a period of decades, you know, on a weekly basis to a huge number of poor people, I think is by far the largest contribution the Lawyers Committee has made to the Bay Area.
With outside partners depends on having people on the staff of the Lawyers Committee who are so good that we know our work is better off when we include them.
I mean, they really have been innovative across a good half a dozen areas with really good attorneys and really excellent non-attorney staff.
The city had taken a very aggressive position. They called it the Matrix program. And effectively what it meant was that anyone who was homeless in San Francisco would be in violation of the law. And we brought a challenge at the time. The greatest value of working on the Matrix case was not just the legal work. It was going out on the street and talking to homeless people. I think that's important in terms of your human growth, your personal growth. I feel much more engaged in the life of this city and in the world because of the work I did with the Lawyers Committee.
And I remember him coming by with his hearing aids in, you know, able to really talk in a way that we could communicate again. And he had done a little drawing, and he gave it to me, and he had tears in his eyes. And that was the best moment.